Love Jones changed how we express Black love with poetry, incense, and quiet fire. The Best Man changed how we see ensemble stories, love, and longevity. One was sacred text for the vibe it curated soul. The other was a franchise that defined a generation. What's up, what's good, and what's poppin'? And welcome back to my channel. You could have been anywhere on Beyonce's good internet, but you are here with me, and I appreciate you for that. So if you like what you see upon your black screen, if you love black movies, if you love black culture and black art, then if you could just do me a favor, if you could just hit that subscribe button at the bottom of the screen, because baby, we're obviously friends now.
We're friends now.
If you don't know who I am, first of all, hello, my name is Kahsmiiic, your cultural griot, your cinematic historian, and your lover of all things black media. I am also known as TopKat. I am your reactionary goddess, and this is Cinema Versus. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming back to week 2 of Cinema Versus, where we are putting 2 classic movies head to head in a very loving way. Now, last week I promised you a battle of words, and I meant it. But before we get into that, let's talk about last week's results, because the results are coming in hot, and I am surprised by what you guys voted by. So, last week's polls are in, and it was pretty intense, and not in the way that I thought it was going to be. Now, last week we put the dreams head to head against the heartbeats, and I'm pretty surprised because I would have thought that the heartbeats would have beaten the dreams, but when it came to the battle of the band, Dreamgirls came out pretty far ahead, like with over 50% of the results. Shout out to the Dreamettes and all the Dream Girls across all platforms. Y'all really came in through. Now, let's get into this week's episode. As I promised, as you saw by this preview, it is a battle of the words. We have a prolific poet coming up in the world of poetry and jazz, and going up against a novelist in the world of fiction, or in this case, nonfiction. We are putting up against each other The Best Man versus Love Jones.
Oh, hell no.
So I have to ask, just like how I did last week, which one takes the cake? Love Jones versus The Best Man. We're going through it category by category, just like how we did last week. So get your pen and your pads, take down your notes, let me know in the comments which one you would rather choose, which one takes the round, and we are going to do the wild card scene versus scene battle as well. But first, let's get into the plot and the structure of each movie. Now, if you see me looking down, it's because I literally have my notes directly in front of me. So let's get right into the plot and the structure, because we have 10 categories and a lot to discuss. Let's first get into Love Jones. Love Jones follows the love story between Darius and Nina. Darius is an inspiring writer, and Nina is a photographer, who both meet at a spoken word lounge and spark an offbeat romance filled with intensity, a lot of miscommunication, and passion. The story is unfold in a non-linear pacing and bouncing between desire, distance, friendship, and frustration. And this isn't your typical rom-com arc, because it's filled with a lot of poetic realism. There's quiet moments, The quiet moment speaks volumes, and the structure reflects the confusion of modern love. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I knew I wanted to do episode 2 with Love Jones, but I could not figure out for the life of me what was the perfect movie to put up against Love Jones. I actually had to ask some reinforcements for what would be the best movie. Should I do Poetic Justice? Should I do Brown Sugar? Should I do Love and Basketball? But my dad said that there was only one movie that was culturally just as beloved as Love Jones. And he's right. It's what you want, boy. It's what you need. Best Man, the original 1999 movie, is the only movie that can compete. The Best Man centers around the reunion of a few college friends coming together for the weekend, the wedding of the year. The Best Man centers around Harper, a successful author whose soon-to-be-released novel exposes the secrets about his friend group right before the wedding of Lance and Mia. As the group reunites, buried tensions explode, and the film uses a linear structure with flashbacks for context, balancing comedy, chaos, and real emotional weight. From the bachelor party, that bachelor party, to the altercation at the final vows, the momentum steadily multiplies with intertwined plot lines. We are about to go into these 10 rounds to discuss everything to figure out which one of these movies takes the cake. Performance impact. Who brought it? Who made you believe it? And who had you screaming at the screen or rewinding for the scene? So with Love Jones, of course we have Nia Long as Nina, Larenz Tate as Darius, but we also need to talk about the supporting cast, okay? So we have Isaiah Washington as Savon, the messy, married, and mid-spiraling best friend. Bill Bellamy as Hollywood, messy, hating, petty, but persistent and passionate. And then we also have Lisa Nicole Carson as Josie, Nina's best friend, loyal but real. For the Best Man, we already know this stacked cast, okay? You have Taye Diggs as Harper, the secret spiraling protagonist, or antagonist if you're Lance. Nia Long as Jordan Armstrong, the ambitious, fiery, maybe love interest of Harper. Morris Chestnut as Lance Sullivan, Groomzilla in a crisis. Monica Calhoun as Mia, the bride-to-be with the secret. Sanaa Lathan as Robin, Harper's very patient girlfriend. Terrence Howard as Quentin, the scene-stealing agent of chaos. I mean, let's not forget about how we were introduced to the dude. That guitar scene told us everything we needed to know. Harold Perrineau as Murch, the lovable doormat with a very legendary turn. Melissa DeSosa as Shelby, the high maintenance and unforgettable heel. And Regina Hall, who made her very first film debut in this movie. Okay, I know we know her for Scary Movie. We love her as Miss Meeks Brenda Meeks in Scary Movie, but it was her as Candace who really is the reason why Murch was able to finally grow some cojones. Okay, both of these casts were stacked. Both of these casts made memorable impacts. Okay, a lot of people know Isaiah Washington for Grey's Anatomy, but let's not forget he had a career before Grey's Anatomy, and we love him for it. Love Jones gave us A Quiet Storm, The Best Man gave us a category of a level 5 emotional hurricane. Both performances hit, but very differently. Most people would think that Love Jones is just about the two, but it was very much an ensemble cast. The friends moved the plot along. If it wasn't for Bill Bellamy, we wouldn't have the tension when Nina comes back. If it wasn't for Josie, he wouldn't have been running towards the train when she got that job from Vibe. What soundtrack stuck with you long after the credits roll? And what film used music like it was the supporting character? Now, the Love Jones and The Best Man both have some good ass soundtracks. Love Jones is no different. Oh wait. Soundtrack and score. What's the musical mood? Now, when it comes to Love Jones, this is the music, this is the vibe. We all know that we put on the Love Jones soundtrack when you try to get some. Let's just keep it a buck. Let's keep it honest. Let's keep it a whole stack. Okay? This is pure seduction. This is a vibey seduction soundtrack. If I ever heard a soundtrack having a one-track mind in whole as a whole, okay? This soundtrack gave you jazz, neo soul. This has Maxwell something, the mellow smooth version, okay? We have The Sweetest Thing by Lauryn Hill. All kinds of jazzy, and this is before we know about, like, I can't think of the pianist that beat Chris Brown at the Grammys for best R&B album. John Baptiste. We're talking about before there was a John Baptiste. John Baptiste would have most likely been on this album. All right. If Love Jones was made today, John Baptiste would have been on this album. This score was minimal but atmospheric. It breathes between space and time, scenes, and it holds space like a band behind a poetry set. You know that if you really wanted to, if you were hosting a special someone, you would put on this playlist, you would put on this album, and you would put out the wine, the cheese. You don't hear it, you feel it. The Best Man is all kinds of wedding reception realness. All right, we have As by Stevie Wonder, Candy by Cameo, The Best Man by Genuine and Case and like RL, and I can't remember the fourth one. This was like a random Avengers of R&B male singers. Where are the R&B male singers? And I'm talking about the real ones, not the one that's talking about cheating and doing all kinds of situationships. Where are they? All right. We need more than Leon Thomas, and even Leon Thomas is borderline on that, like, Brent Fire ass shit. We need Babyface in them. Where the Babyfaces of 2025? Anyway, this has both Beyonce and Destiny's Child at the same time. And I'm not talking about the three child. I'm talking about Bugaboo. Well, we got Latavia and LaToya. But then Beyonce is still doing her original. The song that Mia walks down the aisle with is Beyonce by herself. Shit Damn Motherfucker by D'Angelo was the perfect song. I don't know if he wrote the song for when Lance found out about Mia. But baby, there is no other song I could think of that could better encapsulate the way that Lance was feeling when he found out and was like, I can read between the lines. We could too. So, Love Jones gives you cool jazz, smooth grooves, candlelight, and sexiness. Whereas Best Man gives you the heat of R&B classics, man. It gives you party. It gives you soul. You could literally do the electric slide at the end of the movie. It's a heart attack. It's like thunder. So when you line them both up, who wins the round? Writing and the dialogue. Whose word stuck with you? Whose line cuts the deepest or made you side-eye the screen in the best way? Let's talk about some quotables. The scene between Darius and Hollywood when Nina comes back and they're talking about in code how Darius found out that Nina is dealing with Hollywood in some way.
Well, we all know that you ain't too good at staying employed, though.
As I heard it, you ain't too good at staying employed either.
He's like, I usually quit my jobs, but you get fired.
Now that's how you clear a bitch.
Read him, okay? Love Jones is literally a dialogue on how to be poetic. Romance is the possibility of a thing. I don't know if that's bullshit or if it's real, but it's stuck and it's memorable. And that damn the brother of the night to the night poem, soul stirring. My God, me and one of my homegirls when I first moved to Augusta was talking about stop what you're doing. If a dude loved Jones me, he would get it right on sight. I don't know how Nina was able to. Well, I mean, I get it. She was just getting over an engagement. I wasn't. You pull off something as impressive as the brother to the night poem.
Take these cookies. Take up.
The way that they made it seem like he just made that up on sight. Like they just met then and there. And it was just like the blues to Nina. Baby. The dialogue felt natural. It was even like super poetic when Savion was losing his shit because his marriage was on a spiral and every time he was coaxing. Real. That was real. It balanced casual moments, kitchen conversations, pool hall debates, that little conversation between the friends about whether or not God was a woman, because when men get a little happy, they lose blood from their head and their feet to go to where they meet in the middle. So they're stupid and they can't run. It's intimacy in the pauses. The script lets even the silence speak. The writing isn't trying to impress, it's trying to let moments feel seen. But let's not sleep on the best man neither. We already know it's iconic, okay?
I'm emotional, I'm horny, and I don't want to hear about no goddamn peace.
It is hilarious. It is quippy. It is fast-paced. Everybody's got a part where you be like, damn, everybody shines. For this movie to be an ensemble cast does not anybody just fall in the back, okay? Harper and the writing in his damn book, the detailing and of his sins. Now, why would you write a book about your past? Thinking that nobody would figure it out? Dumbass. All right. Insane. Jordan and her daggers. I know that I never even mentioned it, and I'm really waiting until now. Like, this is really a battle of neo-laws. Or Quentin and his, you always got to be the moral compass, huh, Harper? But I deal with my crap. Quentin was always quick to call people out. He might not always be the one like on his A game, but he knew who he was. Shelby is so good as a character. Shelby and Quentin are just hilarious. The writing hits so many times, the comedic timing, the brutal honesty, like the romantic vulnerability. Love Jones gave us tender, literary, honey glazed, deep and heat. where the best man gave us a full soap opera, like Days of Our Lives, All My Children, General Hospital, head ass, smart writing, chaotic, honest, with emotional dragging. A lot of awkwardness too. So do you crown round 3 to Love Jones or to the best man? Direction and vision. What did the director bring to the table? Was the vision cohesive, intentional, and bold? Now, what I'm interested to find out when doing my research for today's episode is, not only is Love Jones written and directed by Theodore Witcher, but it was also his directorial debut. What a directorial debut to make. This movie right here, ladies and gentlemen, is so monumental that it is considered Ryan Coogler, yes, the Ryan Coogler, director of this cinematic masterpiece right here. It's one of his favorite movies and cinematic inspirations. And he debuted with a vision that said, we're gonna make Black romance look like the smooth sound of jazz. The cinematography is smooth and warm and intimate, with the shots of Nina's photography interspliced with everything. Everything is bathed in amber tones and mood lighting. Direction-wise, it takes its time. The pacing is intentional. This is not just a plot-heavy film. It's a vibe. Witcher frames Black love like fine art. The club scenes are vibrant. The rainy train goodbye, you can feel the emotion. Even the cluttered apartment feels cinematic. Giving low budget with like high vision, high art, high style, and emotional realism. This isn't just about spectacle. It's about framing moments with so much personal intention, they feel like a memory. So we have 2 directorial debuts that we're dealing with. The Best Man is just as high gloss and chaotic, right? Malcolm D. Lee is the director behind this vision. This is a 40 Acres and a Mule production, meaning that this was backed by the visionary that is Spike Lee. In The Best Man, you could feel that he was able to control the chaos. Something as big of an ensemble as The Best Man could easily go off the rails. And he directed and delivered an ensemble juggernaut. The pacing is tight. The shifts between drama and comedy, romance and tension are smooth and well balanced. All right. The way that we go straight from laughing when Harper is like, I'm about to blow her back out, to worrying about whether or not Lance is really about to like commit murder and throw Harper right over the balcony in like a split second. Masterful. You never feel lost in the crowd. Like I mentioned when I first started talking about the writing, everyone feels like they have a moment to at least get a time to shine. With so many characters, you have to have a ringleader that's able to hone everybody in. The visuals are clean and polished. So Love Jones is intimate and intentional. It frames Black love with poetry. And the Best Man, it paints Black love like brightly but chaotic. Round 5 is about the looks, the fits, and the aesthetic choices that define each character and the era. Love Jones is neo-style, neo-soul with a beat chic twist. Let's be clear. Love Jones is probably every 90s kids, 2000s kids, everybody who loved the scene of spoken word poetry nights visionary mood board. Okay, when I was doing my rounds at the Cry Out Cave back in Jersey, I don't even know if they exist, but shout out to them. I felt like I was getting my Love Jones on. Okay, I feel like a lot of people were still low key dressing like that. Low key, okay. Because we had our bomber jackets, our wool coats, our turtlenecks. Oh my God. Every nigga loved him some turtlenecks and a fucking trench. God damn. It is a staple. When he wants to act poetic and all moody, Larenz Tate really is every wannabe poetic crooner's dream, okay? Every guy that wants to feel like he is the soul brother to the night. Like Visual Blueprint. But we also, us girlies, our dark lip gloss and our natural curls and our everybody smoke the damn clove. I'm reading myself too. Darius's wardrobe was broke but deep. Nina's wardrobe was sultry but minimalistic. It was always ready. As a girly who was a photographer, always wore minimalist clothes. It's cozy, it's artsy, it's layered, it's never flashy. Again, if we ever have like a spoken word renaissance, everybody just naturally starts wearing clothes like that. Weather permitting though. Chicago's cold as shit. When it comes to the best man, this was Black excellence in motion. When they were in suits, the suits were suiting. Double-breasted, wide lapels, imported everything, okay? Because Lance was playing for the New York Giants. Boo! Sorry. I'm a girl who goes hard for the Philadelphia Eagles. I know whoever was watching me automatically turned off. But for the sake of the movie, but because he was a player for the New York Giants, I mean that this nigga had money, so everybody in the groom's party had to have like suits. They had to have fucking suits, okay? But Jordan also worked for BET, so sis had money. Sis had money. Harper had Oprah connections, so bro had money. Everybody had attire. Jordan served career woman chic, sleek dresses, power suits, and accessories with attitude. Shelby was I'm rich and I know it. Mia was soft and regal and bridal from start to finish, even when her casual outfits were sacred. Quentin was the wild card, and you could tell because, you know, when he needed to express himself, he would wear the leather suits or the leather jackets, the unbuttoned shirts. They felt like 1999. And they dressed like they were always on the cover of Essence magazine. When you compare the two, Love Jones was dressed like the people you met at literal poetry slams, Instagram coded, TikTok coded. Like, these are the people that you would probably see just like today's inspiration. And the best man are people that like I said, they're Black excellence. They had money and they were not afraid to show it. But I feel like they never were like pretentious. The shadow work. This is about the unhealed wounds, the projections, the patterns, and the parts of the characters that needed therapy, but instead chose chaos and vibes and violence. Y'all ready? This one might be long. Love Jones is attachment issues covered in glitter and vibes and smokes and wine. Darius and Nina, although very compatible, very sexually compatible, were deeply emotionally unavailable. But they dressed their emotional unavailability as depth. Now, when Darius met Nina, she said that she was unavailable. Nina had just broken off her engagement. Now, she didn't say that, and she didn't owe him a full explanation as to why she was unavailable, but she said that she was unavailable, and he stalked her. He stalked her, bugged his friend for her address off of the check, came to her house with a CD, and kept bugging her until she said yes to, I will go out for drinks with you. Darius low-key has some form of control issues, but masked it as romantic spontaneity or persistency. He wrote a whole poem about her first look. Nina out here, I don't know if her ex, if she called her ex or if her ex just popped up, but if you had a good thing after being worn down by Darius, and yes, I'm gonna keep saying it, he wore her down. After being worn down and realized, oh, I think I might actually like this dude, you still decided to go out and see, do I still want to try to get this old thing back? Trifling. Neither one of them communicated what they really wanted. Darius was trying to prove that he was ready and was able to move on past Felicia, the ghost of love's past. And Savant, bro was married and kept mentioning that he was married and trying his best to give his best advice to Darius. But then once his marriage fell apart, started acting pretty shady. He barely mentions his wife except to complain. There's a pattern of performing like adults while emotionally regressing. Oh, and let's not even get started on Hollywood. Certified hater. The moment we meet Hollywood, he was not a good friend. He was hating on Darius the moment we met him. He did not support him at all. Plotting, smiling in Darius's face, salivating over his leftovers. He's the kind of friend that gives backhanded compliments and advice, all while hoping that Darius would lose just so he could swoop on in and backdoor his friend. As you can tell, I don't like backdooring. I hate it. Hate it. The best man. Goodness gracious, great ball to fire. Where do we begin? With Harper, the non-committal narcissist who wrote a whole damn book airing out his laundry in a way that only his best friends would know, and then thinking that nobody would read the book. Blew up his entire friendship, his entire friend's wedding. Were you that starved for content? Shocked that there were consequences for his actions. Outed Mia and acted like you had no part in the... What is wrong with you? Lance, the dude with the extreme insane double standard. You out here dipping and doing and flipping and rubbing, smacking everybody, rubbing it down, sowing your royal oats, and then thinking that marriage was going to be the thing that would stop you. But the moment that you found out that Mia was out here doing it once with somebody else, lost your shit. Now Mia ain't right, cause she, you know what they say, if women are gonna do dirt, we don't just do dirt. Like we just gonna screw with anybody. We gonna fuck your barber. Damn, Mia. Jordan has control issues on time. She's like the stereotypical career woman. Give me my money. She's like, if I can't get laid, then I'll at least get paid. All of them have their own issues. Even Robin couldn't get her shit together at career-wise, but she has her man. All of them have something that they needed to work out. This movie, The Best Man, is about people who needed something to heal in their 20s and trying to plan a wedding, all while spiritually bleeding out. And I don't know, it seems like even till this day, people still think that the wedding, the marriage, will be the end-all be-all to their infidelity. It'll be the end-all be-all to their emotional unhappiness. I feel like people are getting mad at me and throwing daggers at me as I speak about the fact that I'm calling them out. The marriage is not the end-all be-all. Some people, as somebody who's never been married but have met plenty of married people, say that marriage just amplifies what is already there. I'm gonna move on. The Love Jones is a romantic tragedy of two people who mistake depth for intimacy. The Best Man is a chaotic friend group that builds a tower of stress and watches it collapse. Thank God is able to rebuild it again. Joy Alchemy. Who gave us the joy that lingers? Love Jones gave us the scene where the friend group is having that discussion about whether or not God is a woman. That moment of intellect between sexes. The joy of artistic ambition. Seeing how Darius and Nina would support each other artistically. Everyone's trying, writing, photographing, making meaning, expressing themselves through art. There's joy in the silence, in how Nina smiles when Darius finally shows up and listens, and how their crew laughs with each other without pretense. That scene in the house party where Darius is asking if they know how to do that dance that no one has ever heard of. I mean, yes, it gets cut short when Hollywood shows up with Nina. The bike ride in the city, the spoken word scenes, the laughs in the kitchen, those were real moments of intimacy and snapshots. But even in the mess, it was soft, it was sensual, it was us falling in love again and again. The Best Man is that bachelor party. Again, it got cut short when Harper was dangling over the balcony. But before that, when Regina Hall makes her debut and she's dancing to Just Like Candy, okay? And she's giving Murch a lap dance. And everybody's laughing at Murch, holding on to her like for the mother of God. The inside jokes between everybody, the roasting of each other. You could feel like they've known each other for years. The banter, it's pure. You can tell that the improvisation is real. Even in the chaos, the love amongst the friendship is palpable. Quentin smirks, Murch's goofiness, okay? His sweetness, even when Shelby's being extra, you can feel how they're clowning on him. It's so real. The Mia's softness when she smiles. There's healing, there's joy, the apologies, the pray for me, brother. You might have felt awkward, but you felt like a sigh of relief when he finally prays. He like is grabbing onto, when Lance is grabbing onto Harper's hand for dear life, and he's like, oh, you let out a little awkward laugh, but you laugh. There's so much healing and joy, and when apologies are made and friendships realign, when people chooses to love anyway, the Best Man reminds us the joy is sometimes louder than the pain. Joy is sometimes loud, it is chaotic, it is messy, but it's necessary. Love Jones offers us to feel seen and the joy of being seen. The Best Man offers us the joy of being known. Now, this might be one of my favorite rounds. Archetypal drag battles. It's time to expose the true roles they play spiritually, narratively, and energetically. Love Jones is the slow burn of court cards. Darius he's the Knight of Cups with the underlining energy of the Magician, meaning he's got charm and poetic bars and the illusion of control, but baby, it is all projection. Nina is the High Priestess with the underlining energy of the Eight of Cups. Emotionally intuitive, but is always quick to walk away. All right? She even said falling in love is the last thing that she would do. She's guarded, perceptive, and carries grief in silence. Hollywood, can you guess? The devil with the underlining energy of the Five of Swords. Unlike Big Red last week, who was just straight up the devil, this one is more about the manipulation. All right, so he's very competitive, manipulative, always plotting, but never fully in power. Whereas Big Red last week was fully in power, Hollywood was never in power. By the end of the movie, he was sitting in the booth by himself, all alone in the VIP. Vaughn is the Hierophant in reverse. Talks about love and commitment, but couldn't live it. He hides behind tradition while being emotionally unavailable. Josie, I would say, is the Queen of Cups because she was the one that was always supportive for Nina. Now let's talk about the major arcana soap opera that is The Best Man. Harper is the Moon card with the underlining energy of the Seven of Swords. Again, commitment issues. He was the one that, the Moon card is known for what's done in the dark comes to light. And this dumbass put all of his secrets in his own book and revealed it. Harper isn't on a journey. He was dodging a mirror. Mia would be the Temperance card. She's very forgiving. Some might even say she's a bland ass martyr. But she represents harmony, quiet strength, and divine timing. Jordan is the High Priestess, which is ironic because Nina was also the High Priestess. So it seems like Nia Long just gets High Priestess energy in all of her movies, at least in this case. But she was controlled, observant, and holding secrets like currency. She knows everything but reveals it in her own time. Lance is the Emperor reverse meets Judgment. He's a man of faith and structure until the betrayal shakes his throne and then everything gone to hell. Forgiveness arc activated, but only after a spiritual death and a rebirth. Murch is the Page of Swords, turning upright into the Chariot. Starts off awkward and passive, ends up with clarity and direction because his no becomes an eventual real yes to himself. But it took Candace to give him some cojones. Shelby is the Queen of Swords meets the Tower. Sharp, controlling, overcompensating for her insecurity. Her collapse was necessary, but damn did she take the room with her. Quentin is the Fool with the King of Wands. Very fiery, very quick to call everybody out on their shit. Very chaotic energy, but flirts with the truth, dodging responsibility. But underneath it all, the philosopher trying not too hard to feel deeply. And then Candace is the Star. Gentle, unexpected, healing, all within her presence. She arrives softly, but creates a major shift in the whole group dynamic. All because she gives Murch a goddamn spine. Good for her! Praise the Lord! The Love Jones is a little more minor arcana with heartbreaks and hope. The Best Man is all major arcana madness. Egos and death and karma. Who changed the game? This isn't just about awards and box office legacy, but it's about cultural impact that was left behind. Round 9 is all about the legacy. Whose influence lives on how we dress, how we talk, how we fall in love, or start drama at a wedding. Love Jones is a cult classic blueprint. As I've already mentioned, Love Jones is a direct love of Ryan Coogler. But let's be clear, Love Jones is a foundational text when it comes to the hopeless romantics of Black love. This is the Black neo soul of romance. It introduced the whole aesthetic of poetry, love, soul, neo soul, intimacy, incense, lit poetry. It inspired everything from spoken word nights to poetry, music videos, R&B music videos, late nights in the 90s and early 2000s. Quotes like romance is the possibility of the thing, the whole Blues for Nina poem is still romantic fantasy. This movie lasts the test of time. It might not have won an Oscar, but it won the heart of Black creatives to this day. It might not have been mainstream success, but it is art house royalty. The Best Man, on the other hand, is an ensemble cast juggernaut. It's a franchise. It created the Best Man Holiday, the Best Man Final Chapter, which was a Peacock short series. The cast became culture. The Best Man gave us characters that we still quote, still being referenced, full voice. It created space for films centering successful, fully flawed, but fully fleshed out Black people, navigating love, faith, friendships, betrayal. The sequel that came out 14 years later, The Best Man Holiday, cemented its impact, and then it created another limited series 9 years later, Best Man Final Chapters, but it wrapped a whole era of Black cinema. Terrence Howard, memeable. Melissa DeSosa and Terrence Howard together, great. Cinematic chemistry. This isn't a one and done, it was a whole damn cinematic universe. Love Jones changed how we express Black love with poetry, mood, vibes, A Quiet Fire. I've mentioned that soundtrack. The Best Man changed how we see Black ensemble stories. Like, we really love The Best Man. That was why I thought that this was the only contender for Love Jones. It gave us mess, it gave us heart, it gave us longevity. We saw fully fleshed, well-rounded characters in this franchise. Rewatchability. If I presented to you right now both movies, which one do you go to first? Love Jones is the Quiet Storm rewatch. This is the movie that you'll probably put on when you're with your boo and you want to snuggle up and just feel the vibes. This is the movie when your heart is soft, when your journal is open and you're sipping on something brown and slow. The Best Man is the emotional roller coaster classic. You know what's coming and you still scream. You still laugh. It's the pacing, the drama, the cast. It delivers every time. And that concludes our 10 rounds. But I did promise you the scene versus scene wild card round. So let's match up 3 rounds of scenes versus scenes. Okay, so we said the battle of the words. So we're gonna do the soul brother of the night, the blues for Nina,
You're the shit, girl.
versus Lance reading the confession. Battle of the words. The dominoes scene, or the scene where Hollywood and Darius is talking about Nina in code, versus the card game
Karma, baby.
where they're talking about Mia in code.
Charlie Parker.
Darius and Nina at the record store, or Jordan telling Harper about him and himself in their almost love-making scene. Which of these scenes takes the cake? Well, I think I have talked your ears off long enough. Now I turn it over to you. In the pinned comment is the official voting tab for this week's Cinema Versus. You tell me in the comments down below and vote in the official tab and let me know which movie is the one that reigns supreme? I am Kahsmiiic. Thank you so much for being here. As always, I love you so much. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button because, baby, we're no longer just friends.
We are a family, like a giant tree, branching out towards the sky.
If no one has told you, I love you and you matter, not just because you're here watching my videos and talking movies with me, but because of who you are. I hope that you have a fantastic day. And next week, because we are in Pride, we are talking Black queer joy, and I can't wait to talk to you again. I'll see y'all next time. Bye, lovely.